Come on in, my friend. All right, Jose, it's your show.
All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you once again for inviting me. I just want to take a moment just to center myself behind the spirit. Just bear with me for a couple seconds. What's going on, guys? Before I begin, I just got to come in here and thank God. Before anything else, I got to thank God for putting me in this present moment. See, I got to thank him for the highs, the lows, the failures, the successes. I got to thank him for everything that ever happened to me because it led me to this present moment hanging around with my people. I got to take a moment and thank my beautiful wife, for sacrificing her time. So I could come in here and fulfill my duty. I got to come in here and thanks my parents, for never giving up on me in my darkest times. See, I got to thank my kids, for supporting me through this journey that I'm in today. See, because today I get to be their father, you know, and I get to thank the fellowship that continues to pseudo boot up and show up wherever anybody cares. They just get in the car and I got to thank them, and I got to thank Terry for bringing this out of me. Because he asked me to come out here and share, my immediate thought was like, no, it's a Saturday. I got wife, I got kids, I got all these other things, all the other dilemmas. I think that moment because I thank God for that moment. Because it made me understand that I'm still in the grips of a progressive illness. I'm still in the grips of this progressive illness. I am not cured of this disease. And it took a village to get me to this moment. And I gotta thank God, and it's by God's grace. My name is Jose, and I'm a grateful recovered addict. And it's by God's grace and God's mercy that He put me in the rooms of recovery. See, I gotta come in here and give God all the credit. See, I can't come in here and just give Him 50% of the credit, 75% of credit, 85% of credit. Not even no, He gets all the credit. Because I can't come in here and start taking credit for something that I always had an inability to do for myself. See, my whole life I've been searching for that truth. And I started in the form of a pill. I started in the form of a line. I started in the form of a pipe. I started in the form of a bottle. See, I started so many different ways. See, I was seeking this truth. And I could never find it. Because I suffer from a disease that does not want God meddling in any of its affairs. See, I suffer from the disease that tells God, don't mess with Jose. He's mine. See, I claimed him. And he separates me from the truth. The truth is that I have to doing this work. I can't come in here and say I was ever homeless. I was not homeless. I just made a high decision not to go home. Because there was rules and regulations that I did not want to obey by. See, Allah has been disclosed to me through this a little bit more over 5 years, a little under 5 years. My sobriety day is September 17, 2019. And like I said, all those claps, go to God. See, I don't know, and I get emotional when I say this. I don't know what He saw in me. I can't understand what He saw in this addict. See, I can't come in here and try to fully define or comprehend this power, because this power, I understand, that loves me unconditionally. He sent a boat, He sent a chopper, and He sent a plane to rescue me. He sent my parents, He sent my mom, and she's like, I don't know, Jose. There's something definitely wrong that I'm not liking in you. He sent my father, He said, Jose, you keep missing work. What is going on? Don't worry, God. Don't worry, Dad. They need me in this delusion. They sent my sisters. Jose, I don't know what's happening. I'm not liking it. You're going to lose your wife. You really think she's going to give up all of this? See, those are my thoughts. And He sent my wife. And she tells me, Jose, your kids are watching you. And I'm full flight. I can't understand what is happening. See, my abnormal life became the only normal life that I ever knew. See, I don't know what is happening to me. And He said, my kids, my son, I know what's going on, Dad. I know. You think I'm dumb. I know what's going on. You coming in and out of the bathroom, coming with your friends, taking turns, and I know what's going on. And I'm in denial. there is nothing wrong with the way that I'm acting, right? I was taught to share in a general way what I was like, not what it was like, what I was like. Because when what it was like, it's still out there like that. Nothing has changed. There's still a dope man in every corner. There's still a liquor store in every corner. I mean, and there's still a dope man in every street. They might rotate, you know what I mean, because some will go in jail, some come out, you know what I mean, they rotate, but everything's still the same out there, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But something happened in my life where I've changed. But it's been a journey, right? See, so when I come and tell you like what I was never like anybody else. From a young age, I mean, I could be in a crowded room and I still felt alone. In a crowded room with people my age playing right, and I didn't feel part of. I could not understand it. And I was seeking that ease and comfort that comes at once, you know what I mean? And I wanted that toy. And I got that toy, and I felt that that's all I needed, that toy. Right? From a young age, if I could only get that toy that I wanted, you know what I mean, I'll be okay. But it was never enough to hold me. It was never enough to hold me. And it had to be bigger. Because someone showed up with a bigger toy. Now I wanted this toy. And I could not be happy till I got that toy. And once I got that toy, I mean, it was never enough to hold me. See, I suffer from a disease, you know what I mean, that doesn't disclose to me what I suffer from. See, all these things are happening to me as a young child, and I don't understand what's going on. See, that's not what makes me an alcoholic. But see, those were a sign that there was something terribly going wrong inside of me. And I could not understand what was happening. I mean, I started hanging around with people and I started talking like them, walking like them, dressing like them, but that was not me. See, I would see my grandma, you know what I mean, praying to this God, you know what I mean? And I just could not believe. I could not believe in that God. You know what I mean? My mom and dad would take me to church every Sunday, you know what I mean, and have me praise this God. But I just did not believe. See, I don't know what has happened to me. I just know I don't believe. See, I don't understand that I'm disconnected from the source of power. And I rely on these other people that have some sort of power to tap into some power. And this type of power is misguided because I don't know where it's leading me. See, I don't know that I'm disconnected from a young age. See, but I understand that just a disconnection doesn't make me an alcoholic. What makes me alcoholic is that once I put one in, all bets are off. See, my first recollection of actually feeling the effects produced by drugs and alcohol was the Mike Tyson fought hall. If you don't, Mike Tyson bit his ear. That was my first recollection, because I remember showing up to at the 13-year-old boy showing up with my uncles to go watch the fight at one of his friend's house, and it's barely the first fight and the first round, and I'm already 6 beers in. I've never drank 6 sodas in 4 rounds of boxing. I've never drank 6 water bottles in 4 rounds of boxing. I've never drank. No, I don't know. I just knew something happened. I got thirsty and I wanted more. As soon as I got up to do the first bathroom break and I started hitting the walls, they cut me off. And I was just sitting there waiting to see when they're going to offer me the next one. I mean, by the third fight, they offered me one more, and I couldn't. I went and I grabbed another one, and that's when they cut me off. I mean, I had them waiting after the fight ended, waiting for them to for me to sober up, and I thought I was fine. See, for the first time in my life, I felt part of. I felt like I belonged. See, I'm chilling with the big dogs, right? And I'm hanging with them. But they're telling me like, hey, Jose, you gotta sober up, drink. They're giving me orange juice. I'm refusing it. I don't want orange. I want another one of those Coronas, right? See, I didn't understand that I was developing this phenomenon of craving from a young age. See, I flash forward to high school, and it's the same thing. It's our homecoming game, and I steal my dad's tequila bottle, and we're gonna have a little football game before the homecoming game at the park, right? And I can't separate myself from the bottle. While all my friends are out there playing football, tackle football, I'm sitting on the bench taking shots of tequila. I cannot be separated from that bottle. And I don't understand why. See, I'm watching them have a good time, and I'm over here, I myself also having a good time, separated. And I could not understand what was happening. I remember I have short visions because I blacked out of them carrying me Me closing my eyes, they carrying me closing my eyes, and arriving to the van where I knocked out. See, I didn't make it to the homecoming game, right? Because I could not let go of that bottle. All I remember is closing my eyes and waking up and them dropping me off home. And that was my night. But it felt good. It felt good. For the first time in life, I found something that actually made me feel part of. And they flash forward and it kept going, moving on forward and forward and forward. And as my disease progressed, also the substances that I used progressed. All of a sudden, I can no longer just drink. I got to do a bump of coke. All of a sudden, I can't just have a Bud Ice. I have to have a blunt. See, all of a sudden, this disease that I know nothing about is progressing. All of a sudden, I found myself doing things that I would normally not do. Right? But it's starting to become normal. Walking around the neighborhood with a spark plug and breaking people's window and stealing their system so I could get my next dose, that starts becoming normal. But it's not normal, but it's the only normal that I know. And as my disease progressed, I immediately started getting worse, but I could not see it. Once I hit that pipe, once I hit the pipe, all bets were off. Once I took that blast, man, I was going to have a blast. And I was so full of cocksureness because, I don't know if you guys suffer from what I suffer, but I'm egocentric, right? So I developed this great ego, right? I built it up and I'm full of cocksureness, right? And I take that hit and I go back home and I got to tell my sister, man, I smoked some mess today, sis. And it did nothing for me. And all of a sudden, all the sirens are coming out. My sister's telling me like, Jose, don't be doing that. Nah, I'm different. I'm different. It didn't hit me like it hits everybody else. I could hit it. And there I go again because I was full of cocksureness. I didn't believe it hit me until I hit it again and then it took me. Man, once it got me, I was in the grips and I knew I was going to be doing this for the rest of my life. I knew it. I immediately fell in love with the pipe. I couldn't get enough of the pipe. See, I kept waiting for that hit that was going to revolutionize my life. See, I'd be stuck there for hours waiting for the hit, the next hit, because the next hit was going to be better than the last one. And I'm there taking a hit and I got to go because I got somewhere to be. And I arrived to that destination and I got to take a hit and I got to go because I got something. See, I'm constantly got to go, but I don't know that I'm standing still. See, I don't know what's happening. I just know that I take a hit and I think I got to go. Because the people that I'm hanging around with, they start telling me, hey, Jose, you're hanging around with people that do drugs and they're trying to tell you to control your using. I don't know about you guys, but that bugs the hell out of me. So I got to go and I got to find a new breed. People that could smoke like me, drink like me, use like me. You know what I mean? And not give me shit for it. And it progresses and it progresses and it progresses and I don't understand what is happening. Right? And I make all these resolutions and I make all these promises and I do all these things, but I don't know what's happening. See, I remember seeing my wife for the first time. See, I go and I do a drop and I'm leaving. And all of a sudden, as I'm driving in my car, I hear someone yell my name. And I look over and I see my wife. For the first time in my life, we locked eyes and she smiled. And my buddy that was in the back seat, he's talking to me. He's yelling at me, but I'm just concentrating on her. See, I saw her. I didn't see him. I saw her. Right? And I knew if I could just have her, I'd be all right. And I chased her and I chased her and I chased her and I convinced her to go out with me. And then I convinced her to marry me and I convinced her to have our first child. And I thought that just by marrying me that I would maybe be able to set everything aside, right? And actually have like a normal life. But there is nothing normal about my life. I thought having my firstborn child, a son, it was going to change me, but I'm in the delivery room high as hell. Right? And they wake me up because I come to, right? From being on a sick one and they tell me to cut the umbilical cord and I miss. And I swing again and I miss again. And I could try to cut again. I only cut half of it. And I'm like, oh God, please let me cut the umbilical this time. Because I'm swinging and I'm missing. I'm swinging and I'm missing it. I don't know what's happening, but I finally cut it. And as I held my son for the first time, I said, son, I'm going to change. I made that resolution, right? I made that promise, right? I'm going to change, son. And I'm in the hospital and I'm holding him and I'm telling him how it's going to be different and that's going to be the number one daddy. I'm always going to be there for you, son. See, I believe that at that moment, things are going to change. See, but I'm in a safe environment. I'm in the hospital. See, as soon as I get home with him, my friend shows up and he's like, hey, bro, do you got an 8-ball? I'm like, yeah, see, I wasn't going to use, but I wasn't going to stop selling, right? And I go and I give him an 8-ball, and he takes off. and I'm holding my son. I'm saying, see, son, things are going to be different. You know what I mean? Full flat from reality. I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? And then 2 hours later, right, I hear my door knock, and I answer it, and it's his mom. And she's telling me, my son's gone crazy, Jose. I need your help. And I'm like, where is he? He took off. I'm like, all right, let me get my shoes and I'll go find him. I mean, I'll see what's going on with him, you know? So I get on my car and I find him, but things are going to be different, right? And as I find him at the park where he used to normally would hang out, you know what I mean? I see him and he jumps in the car and I see those eyes. I mean, he has what I want, that feeling. See, I forgot that I made these resolutions. See, I forgot that I made these promises, right? I just noticed that he was different and I want to be just like him. And I told him, where's it at? I forgot about that promise, right? And I immediately take a hit. And all of a sudden, we're taking hits back and forth, you know what I mean? And I go, hey, bro, I got to take you home, bro. Your mom's looking for you because I'm a good friend, right? And as soon as I walk him home, drive him home, and we drop off, I didn't know I was stepping into an intervention. Right? Everybody and their mama's sitting there, and I'm high as fuck with him, right? And I'm sitting down there, and I'm like, sit down, Jose. We need your help. And I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be a good one. You know? You know, and they're telling me all these things, right? They're telling me, hey, Lorenzo, we know that you're struggling. We know you're doing drugs. And I'm just hearing them, you know what I mean, pour out their hearts to their son. You know what I mean, they have more fight for his son than he has for himself. You know what I mean, I'm looking at this, you know what I mean, and I'm not liking the feeling, right? And the mom looks at me, Jose, tell him something. Tell him something, Jose. And I look over to him and I go like, hey, Lorenzo, you got to get your shit together. You know? Being the great friend that I am, you know? And, see, that's how full flat from reality I really was. You know what I mean? I remember getting him in the van, you know what I mean? And taking him to treatment, right? And telling him like, bro, I'm going to be here for you and everything else. You know what I mean? And he's on board with going to treatment, right? We convinced him to get in the van. We're taking him to treatment. And as soon as we open the door, he jumps off and takes off. And the dad's looking at me, Jose, catch up to him. And I'm like, I can't, bro. I got Jordans. No crease. And the disappointment in the dad's eyes, I mean, like, man, you're not going to run after my son. Like, he's going to die. See, but my shoes were more important. That's how good of a friend I really am. You know what I mean? And I'm going to fast forward because I don't want to go into a big old drug-a-log about how it was. I just, see, these are all things that exposed to me that I was selfish and self-centered from the very core, from the very young age. See, it was all about me, right? But it all came down to the end, you know what I mean? That August 2019. You know what I mean? I had already got in trouble with the law. I had already got in trouble with the mob in Mexico. I had already got a lot of things happening behind my life. You know what I mean? And I know I'm dying. I know I'm dying because 2 years prior to this day, you know what I mean? I had paid my law. You know what I mean? Because I know I wasn't going to get 40. I knew I wasn't going to get 40, and I knew I didn't want to leave my kids and my wife with that burden. So I bought my plot so I could be buried, and I paid all my services. Everything's paid for. See, I knew I was going to die. See, I almost welcomed the idea already because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired all the time, right? But that August, that was a special month. You know what I mean? Because it was my 30th birthday. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to celebrate it. You know, I did not want to celebrate it. I mean, there was nothing to celebrate. You know what I mean? I was already planning my cemetery. I mean, I was already planning my funeral. There was nothing to celebrate there. I mean, there was nothing funny about my situation. I mean, there was nothing funny about having my kids fear me when I walked into the room. Right? There was nothing funny about seeing my wife's face every time she looked at me in disgust. There was nothing funny about seeing my parents, you know what I mean, just their sadness. There was nothing funny about it. I mean, all those good times, they were long gone. And I couldn't live with myself no more. I mean, but I didn't have the courage to take me out. And I was expecting the substance to do it for me. See, for my.
What time did put the energy is coming back? So I just thought, okay, come back tomorrow.
And on August 21st, 2019, you know what I mean? After a 4-day run, you know what I mean? My daughter calls me. She's like, Dad, we want to celebrate your birthday. And I'm like, oh man, but they knew how to do it. They got my daughter to call me. You know what I mean? The little one. You know what I mean? She's only like 4 years old at the time. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to be there, you know? So yeah, we're going to be at grandma's house. So if you show up at this time, you know what I mean? It would mean a lot to me. And I'm like, yeah, baby, I'll be there. I mean, so I do a couple lines of coke. I smoke some meds. I mean, I pop some Percocet. I mean, I pop some pills. I'm drinking. I mean, and I show up and it's a surprise birthday party, right? And you don't understand the feeling that I felt that Not because of the surprise party. I mean, I was just like so mad that how could these people love me? I could not accept that love. I mean, to have them sitting there, I mean, and trying to celebrate my birthday when I'm dying, I mean, was nothing to celebrate. And I remember seeing my mom. She said, "Hold on, Jose. I'm going to go in and get the cake." And as soon as she went to get the cake, I mean, I jumped the fence and I took off. I took off from my own surprise birthday party. You know, and I took off and I went to a hookah bar and my cousin met me there. You mean, from there we went to a nightclub. You mean, and I'm at the nightclub. You mean, and I'm asking the band. You mean, I'm giving the band $100 every time. Just play the same damn song. You know what I mean? And I mean, it's like, here, shut up, play another song. And they're like, bro, we played it like 10 times. Play it again. You know, and the song just keeps, it says the same thing. You know what I mean? When I die, I don't want to see you guys in my funeral. You know what I mean? And I'm believing all these things. I'm believing all these things. Yeah, I'm like, I want to hear it because I want to believe it. You know, my cousin gets me. He's like, "Bro, you're already tripping, bro. Let's go to a bar." So we go to a bar like from 2 to 7 in the morning. You know what I mean, and it all hits then. It all hits then. You know what I mean, I'm looking all around. You know what I mean, and I'm seeing the loneliness in everybody's eyes. See, there is nothing fun about that sight. I mean, people are doing lines of cocaine on the tables. They're doing lines of cocaine on the restaurant. They're doing lines of cocaine all over the place. They're drinking, and you see the women, you see the band, just miserable, sitting for someone to ask them to play a song. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, man, is this all there is? Is this all there is? Man, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm telling my cousin, bro, hey, bro, just take me home. Take me home. I'm done. And my cousin's like, hold on, wait, bro, wait. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? I understand that God was always with me. I mean, because towards the end when we were leaving the place, I mean, there was 2 girls, and my cousin was trying to convince those girls to take off with us. And in my heart, I was saying, God, please let them say no. Please let them say no. I don't want to be here no more. I just want to go home. See, I had made a decision already. I mean, just to off myself. I mean, see, nothing was ever going to be the same after that day. Because I was looking up at the sky and I was saying, God, is this all there is? Is this all you have to offer me? I'm done, you know. And my cousin, being the alcoholic he is, I mean, I don't like to. He says he's an alcoholic. That's why I call him alcoholic, right? He's like, bro, you're tripping, bro. All you need is some menudo. You know, menudo will solve all your problems. And I'm just like, no, bro, take me home. I'm done. He's like, bro, we'll talk about it after you have some menudo. And he takes me to the menudo spot. I'm looking at the menudo, and that menudo didn't do it for me this time. You know, for the first time in my life, I mean, that menudo wasn't gonna do it for me no more. I was done. He drops me off home and he's like, bro, just get some sleep, get some rest. You're tripping, Jose. You know what I mean? I'm like, nah, bro, I'm done. You don't understand. I'm done. And I walk into my house. I go straight upstairs. I lock myself in the restroom. You know what I mean? I pull out my 357. You know what I mean? And as I'm about to pull the trigger, you know what I mean? This is where I understand that God doesn't understand time and he doesn't understand limitations. At that moment, time did not exist. A chain of events started to happen that were out of my control. For the first time in my life, I picked up the phone and I asked for help. For the first time in my life, you know what I mean, I said, I have a problem. I called the hotline for my insurance company, you know what I mean, and they transferred me over to people that specialize in people that suffer like me. And all of a sudden, they're trying to get me into an intake. And we're saying up the day, and we're saying all this, and all of a sudden, I start feeling great. People, for the first time in my life, I'm saying, I have a problem. For the first time in my life, I'm accepting that something's definitely wrong with me. And they set it up for Thursday, and I'm like, cool. See, but that was only a moment of clarity. See, that was only a moment of clarity, and a moment of clarity is not enough to hold an addict like myself. See, as soon as I hung up that phone, I immediately started hitting the pipe again. And I went on another 4-day run, right? And it was the day that I'm supposed to go into my intake. I mean, the day that I'm telling myself, everything's going to change, right? I'm going to go in this intake, and everything's going to change. Right? And my wife's at the hospital waiting for me, right? And I'm in the parking lot and I'm telling her that I'm 15 minutes away because I'm taking a hit. I still got dope. I cannot see myself getting off that car. And she's calling me frustrated, you know what I mean? And I'm still trying to take the hit that's going to revolutionize my life. And she said, where are you, Jose? I'm at the light. I'm making a left. I'll be there in 5 minutes. And I'm in the parking lot taking a hit and taking a hit and taking a hit. Can I have an inability to get out of my vehicle? I am stuck. I want the help, but I refuse the help. And she's calling me and calling me, blowing my phone. I'm not answering anymore because I know I ran out of excuses, right? And I answered her. She says, Jose, I'm leaving. And I said, no, 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 no. I just parked. I'm getting off. And something happened and I got off the car. And I walked in and I checked in and they gave me a tablet. And they started asking me questions. You know what I mean? Was I suicidal? And for the first time in my life, I started answering, okay, yes, when? Oh, it was 5 days ago, 7 days ago. And do you have guns? Yes, yes. I started answering all the questions as honestly as I could, right? And I go into the treatment center. I go into to my intake. I'm talking to the therapist, and I started crying and bawling and talking about my childhood and creating all these delusions, right? Trying to sell her on these ideas, right? And all of a sudden she stops me. She's like, "First thing we have to do, Jose, is get those guns out of your house." And I was like, "No, you're not getting my guns. What are you talking about?" She's like, "You just said you were suicidal." Yeah, that was 5 days ago. I'm not suicidal today. you know? You know, I get up, I'm leaving, I'm leaving. I mean, God bless her soul, man. I give her hell. I'm leaving and they're trying to sit me down, trying to calm me down. I'm like, no, 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 no. If you take my guns, it's the last time you ever see me. I'm threatening my wife and this and that. And all of a sudden they sit me down, like, okay, okay, okay. We're not going to touch your guns, Jose. But can you come in tomorrow? And I'm like, I can't because I'm a responsible employee. I mean, and I got to give them 2 week notice. You know, this is what I'm going through, right? I gotta talk to my company and let them. He's like, you don't have to worry about that, Jose. We'll write the letters. They will not ask questions. We'll do everything for you. You just gotta show up tomorrow. And I'm like, no, I can't leave them hanging like that. You know what I mean? But I haven't been to work like in 3 weeks. You know what I mean? But I'm creating this scenario. I mean, that benefits me. Now, I need 2 weeks, and I promise you guys that I'll be here. They're like, all right, 2 weeks, right? That was Thursday, right? So my wife leaves and she's like, Jose, I'm giving you these 2 weeks. If something doesn't change it, I am done. You don't have to go to your mom, but you cannot come home anymore. And I'm like, no, 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 2 weeks, baby. That's all I need just to get all my affairs in order, and come Friday, you know what I mean? I'm hitting the pipe. I'm hitting the pipe. I'm hitting the pipe. I'm starting to hear like humming noises from my ear. You know what I mean? And I start hearing voices and I'm looking out the window and I'm thinking people are coming into my house and I'm tripping the hell out, right? And I'm like, man, I can't wait 2 weeks. I can't wait 2 weeks. And I call them back. You know what I mean? I'm like, you know what? I cannot wait 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks is too much. And they're like, okay, okay, okay. It's Friday. I mean, we don't start our treatment program until Monday. Can you come in Monday? And I'm like, how about Tuesday? You know what I mean? This is what I'm going through. See, this is the struggle that I'm struggling with. I cannot get myself there. You know what I mean? So they said, fine, Tuesday. You know what I mean? This is your decision, Jose. Whenever you want to come in, you know what I mean? We already got the paperwork in. You know what I mean? Just come in. You know what I mean? So Monday, you know what I mean? It's my last hurrah. I'm hanging with all my boys right at a bar. You know what I mean? I don't get home until 5 in the morning, right? And I get home and my wife's getting ready for work and she's like, are you gonna go in? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go in. And I was not gonna go in. I was already telling myself as soon as I got home, I'll go tomorrow. Right? I was gonna postpone to tomorrow till I felt a little bit better. See, because I partied too hard today, and she's like, okay. I'm like, yeah, I'll go, don't worry. And she takes off, right? And I'm in the restroom and I'm taking a hit. And this phenomenal craving, it is real. I cannot see, only an act of promises could remove this pipe off my hands. Only something like divine intervention could remove this pipe because I'm not letting go of this pipe. But all of a sudden I start hearing the garage door open and I run aside. I'm like, no, it can't be. She left. And I'm hitting the pipe and I hear doors. And I'm like, no. This is too close. And I start walking downstairs. I mean, as I turn a corner, I started seeing her walk in and, was 2 cups of coffee. And I'm like, oh shit, it's really happening. She's really going to take me in today. And I go into the restroom and I'm taking hits, thinking that these hits and these lines are going to last me the whole day. Right. And as soon as I opened the door, I was like, man, this ain't going to work. I get to the treatment center, you know what I mean? I'm withdrawing in the treatment center, you know what I mean? And they're asking me questions and something happened that day though. There was people that thought like me, people that felt like me, people that used like me, but they had 2 days. What? They're identifying as alcoholics, they're identifying as addicts. I mean, but they got 3 days. They have 5 days. And I'm looking and I'm looking at them and I'm like, wow, how do you get 2 days? How do you get 5 days? And for the first time in my life, I mean, I wanted what they had. When the circle came around me and it was my turn to identify, I mean, I said, my name's Jose and I got 2 hours. They told me that I was still under the influence and they kicked me out, you know, but I knew I had to go back. See, I got kicked down the next day. I was there sitting there in that chair and they're like, no, Jose, we need you out there in a different program. And I thank those people for that thing. You know what I mean? Because see, they told me, I mean, the hospitalization, I mean, they favor hospitalization for people like me. I mean, to get the fog and the jitters out of their system. I need those 7 days out in the other program. I mean, just to be able to listen to the information that's being transpired in those rooms, right? And the only thing I heard was go to a meeting, get a sponsor, and get a big book. And that's what I did. See, I went to a meeting, right? And I met an old man. I mean, he wasn't my sponsor yet, but he said something that revolutionized my life. He said, are you in enough pain, Jose? I'm like, yes. And I thought he was talking directly to me. And he said, good, you might have a chance. And that's all I needed. See, this is where spiritual experience meets the spirit that has been awoken. Where this cup is so full, it overflows and it lands on my cup. For the first time in my life, I didn't think I was hopeless anymore. They sold me on the idea of acquiring a big book. And when they gave me the big book, they just didn't give me a big book. They made sure they put their numbers on it. And they made sure they got me a sponsor. See, I didn't have the luxury of being out there and scouting for a sponsor. See, I didn't have that luxury. See, they appointed a sponsor for me. And when I saw him and he gave me the book, I said, man, you're going to save my life. And he says, nah, bro, I'm not going to save your life. You're going to save your life. See, this is an action-based program. So you get in what you put in. And if you don't put nothing into it, you won't get nothing out of it. And all of a sudden, you know what I mean, I'm coming into the rooms, you know what I mean, with the state of conflict. See, because the big Bill's story says it perfect in the first thing, war fever. See, I come in with a war fever mentality. See, I come in here with my mind in state of conflict. See, revolutionary changes are starting to happen in my life, right? And I don't understand what's happening, see, because I get lost in the love and the applause. But I can't forget the war. See, because I understand that when I'm in the rooms of Cocaine Anonymous, I'm safe and protected. I am safe and protected in the rooms of recovery, right? But what happens when I leave? That's when the loneliness gets me. And for the first year of my recovery, I stayed in the rooms. I stayed in the rooms because I had to get a clear understanding of what I'm up against. I'm up against a disease that does not discriminate. I'm up against a disease that wants me dead. And I understand how it's attacking me. See, because I come into the rooms and I start fancying myself a leader. See, I start getting 30 days. And all of a sudden I start walking a little different. And then I start getting 60 days. And I start walking a little different. I start getting 6 months and I start walking a little different. And I forget because I'm hanging around with these elder statements, right? And I'm trying to make their recovery my recovery, but that's not my recovery. See, I'm trying to hang on to somebody else's recovery. I mean, but it's not my recovery because I still haven't cracked open that book. And until I crack open the book, little or nothing can be done. See, they give me this prayer and they start telling me, Jose, set aside everything you think you know about these steps, this book, this program, my disease, myself, and especially you, God. See, I gotta set these things aside. Why? Because I come in here with several lifelong conceptions of how my life should be. And I gotta learn I gotta ask God to enable me to set all these things aside because my mind is in a state of conflict. See, it's not my job to come in here, start trying to fully define or comprehend this power which is God. But as soon as I show some willingness, I start becoming mentally prepared to start setting everything aside. See, I'm being taught how not to let spirit terms deter me from honestly asking myself what they mean to me. What they mean to me. And what do they mean to me when I got this condition which they big book calls a handicap? And the sole purpose of this handicap is to release me from the truth. Why? Because I'm stubborn, I'm overly sensitive, and I got an opinion based on no facts. I don't know why I think that way. I just know I do. And these people are begging me. These people who have traveled this dubious path are begging me to lay aside all these prejudice. But I can't. Why? Because I got this war fever mentality. I think I know something, and I need help. See, because I'm sitting in that chair and I could only see myself like that tombstone at old Winchester Cathedral. This guy died asking for help, refusing the help. See, I am that tombstone in the rooms of recovery. See, I come in here debating things that don't need debating. See, because the phenomenal craving has been removed. See, my body has finally come to rest. See, I come into the rooms of recovery in a dis-ease. And when I step into the rooms and I sit down, I come to at ease. For the first time in my life, I'm settling down. For the first time in my life, I'm taking the hit off this dope the people in the rooms of Cocaine Anonymous are giving me, and I don't want to go. I don't want to go. For the first time in my life, I'm hearing people that drink like me, smoke like me, feel like me, but have recovered. How? They told me that I must believe that my body is just as sick as my mind, but my body feels pretty good by this point. All of a sudden, I start seeing what's happening. See, I start hearing these readings. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. So what is stopping me from completely giving myself to this simple program? Is it that I'm still unwilling to admit that I am an alcoholic of the hopeless variety? Because saying that I'm an alcoholic puts me in a whole different spectrum. It puts me beyond human aid. It leaves me powerless. I have lost the power to choose, and I don't like to think that I'm bodily and mentally different than my homeboys. If they could drink, I could drink. If they could take the hit, I could take the hit. See, I'm naturally incapable of grasping and developing a mental which demands it. It doesn't ask, it demands rigorous honesty from the very start. See, it lets me know that result is new until I let go absolutely. See, if I still have these thoughts and I still have these ideas, I'm still outside the car. They're telling me get in the car and I'm still outside the car. Right? Because I have a disease that is cunning, baffling, and powerful. Its sole purpose is to deceive me by giving me options. I don't have options. My life is in a state of emergency. This is a self-imposed crisis. If I don't do nothing about it, I'm going to die this alcoholic death. It is cunning. It confuses me time and time again. It deceives me and it overpowers me. And it tells me that there is only one who has all power. May you find them now. And I can't find them. I cannot find them. I cannot find them. But I keep going through the program and all of a sudden I come to believe that you believe. People in the rooms are telling me it only seems that you're hopeless, Jose. It only seems that way, but we found a way out. Welcome to the wholesale miracle. If you want it, come get it. And it created this park, and this park created this book, and this book created this traveling businessman. And the sole purpose of this traveling businessman is to sell me on an idea that I never have to drink or use ever again. See, the period of flying blind has ended, Jose. The first 100 men and women who have recovered laid out the blueprint of how to recover from this hopeless state of mind and body. The blueprint's there. Are you going to take it? And I open up the doctor's opinion and say, we of Alcoholics Anonymous believe the reader will be interested. Who's reading it? Me. For the first time in my life, I am interested in the plan of recovery outlined in the big book Alcoholics Anonymous. All of a sudden, I'm listening to the chief physician of a prominent hospital, the doctor of all doctors, that he's letting me know what I suffer from. He's categorizing me as being hopeless, and he's letting me know for the first time in my life, man, I'm not coming to you as a doctor. I'm coming to you as a human being. I cannot help you, Jose. But there's people in these rooms that can. There's an altruistic movement of people that felt like you, drank like you usually, but have recovered. They may have a remedy for whatever you're going through, Jose. For the first time in my life, I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it come alive. Why? Because I'm actually in the big book Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm actually taking this information and applying it to my daily life. All of a sudden, I start seeing and believing everything that is happening. All of a sudden, I start becoming Christopher Columbus and know the world is no longer flat. All of a sudden, I start believing that the world is round and it's based off a triangle. Unity, service, and recovery from the very start. If I want to be whole today, I got to do all three parts. And that's a fact. See, means are very vital for me. They're not enough to keep me sober, but they're a vital part of my recovery. And being a service, that keeps my spirit alive. And taking my mind to positive recovery keeps me in the program of action. And I love this process, right? Because I came to believe, just like Galileo. See, I was trying to come in here because I got, like I said, 30, 60, 90 days. I mean, I'm trying to sell my homeboys on the idea, right? And they're trying to put me to death. Get out of here with that foolishness, right? They don't want to hear none of that. turn into the right brother, right? And I grab onto my partner and we take flight. See, I met someone in the program and we're still going on strong. We took flight on this process of believing because I came to believe. I came to believe in the process of recovery. But that in itself was not enough. Right? Because I had to start understanding how I set the stage, how I'm the director. See, I hear this prayer and I hear this prayer saying it, people saying it all the time. I mean, God, I offer myself to thee to build with me, to do with me as I will. Relieve me of the bondage of self, though I may better do that will. Take away my difficulties, so I victory over them may bring witness to all I hope of the power that love and the will. May I do that will always. And God tells me, say it again. May I do that will always. Say it again, Jose. May I do that will always. Say it again. May I do that will always. May I do that will always. And for the first time in my life, I understand that I'm actually asking God for permission. May I do that will. And he says, no, Jose, you got to set the stage. You have to set the stage. You cannot do my will when you're still blocked from the sunlight of the Spirit. You have to launch in the vigorous course of night. See, you got to create the stage so you can throw out the theater of the lie. See, you got to start putting all the characters. Start pasting all the characters. And I say, my dad, my mom, my wife. And he's like, no. There you go. My, right? Everything belongs to you, Jose, right? Everything belongs to you, Jose, right? Put names on that list. And all of a sudden, I started putting my dad's name, my mom's name. Here go my mom, right? Sometimes I confuse myself, right? But it's all right. But I start putting my wife's name, right? And all of a sudden, I start putting their role. What was their role in all of this, right? And what did they do, right? All of a sudden, I'm creating the delusionals, and then I get to that fourth column where all of a sudden, I see how I placed these people in this position, how I was a major player in all of this, and all of a sudden, that theater of the lie is taken apart when I start sharing it with God and another human being. All of a sudden, that theater of the lie exposed that it was always a lie. Everything I ever said was a lie, right? Because it was always my truth. And my truth is always a half truth. And why is it a half truth? Because the half truth is always going to be what? A lie. But see, exposing the lie felt real good. See, but now I got to carry it out, right? Now that I'm being guided by the sunlight of the Spirit, I got to go back out, right? And start going to the places I did not want to go no more. See, I got to start letting the Spirit guide me to these places that I want nothing to do with. Right? The sunlight of the Spirit is guiding me to the places that I didn't want to see. I didn't want to see all my character defects and my shortcomings. I did not want to see them. But they were getting exposed one by one. And it's a beautiful thing because once they were exposed, I was able to identify the problem. The problem is me. And they exposed me to what this whole purpose of this program is. Lack of power is my dilemma. And the sole purpose of this program is the acquisition of that power. See, and going through that 7th step, I started acquiring power. All of a sudden, the 3rd step started uniting with the 7th step prayer. My Creator, I'm not willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. See, I know the good in me, but I also know the bad in me. And I started loving that prayer. Then I started loving combining them because they actually started meaning something to me. My Creator, I'm waiting to have all of me, good and bad. I pray that you not remove every single defect, character, stand in the way of my usefulness to you, my fellows. Grant me the strength as I go out to do your bidding. For the first time in my life, I said, amen. Amen. And all of a sudden, I started seeing all the harms that I had done, all the fears that were the driving force of my life. First time in my life, I knew I had to make amends. And some amends are still being played out. I remember making an amends to my son, at 35 days sober, right? Because I don't know any better, right? But we have family and I and my son sitting there, and I apologize, because I had to get this thing out of me, right? And I told him, son, I'm sorry, man. It was never you, it was me. And I just want you to know that it was never you, it was me. Daddy has issues, right? And I thought I had made an amends, But 2 years into my recovery, my son comes to me and he's like, son, Dad, I want to play you a song. And he starts playing me a song by Kendrick Lamar. It's called Father Time. And as he's playing the song to me, I mean, all I start hearing is daddy issues, daddy issues, daddy issues. And I'm looking at him and listening to him and I'm like, daddy issues? Son, you got daddy issues? Hell yeah. And he starts letting me have everything that I have done to him, right? And I'm sitting there, and this is where I run, but this is where I know the power of God runs deep. Because for the first time in my life, I sat there and I didn't say a word. For the first time in my life, I was able to listen. For the first time in my life, I was able to take in everything that he was telling me, taking in all the information that he was telling me, and I could not say anything. I just sat there and I listened. And when he was done, I just continued to drive because, see, I had to give myself 24 hours just to reflect on what just happened, you know? And I thought about it. I'm like, man, God, I just know I got to continue on this path, and given the opportunity to make all my wrongs right, I'll be prepared. And that happened, you know, in my recovery process. I mean, I start making these amends to my father and all that stuff. I mean, but see, there's a long road of major reconstruction. Okay? A simple sorry no longer fits the bill. There's a long road of major reconstruction again. I mean, I'm on their time now, right? 4 years into my recovery. I mean, I'm working with somebody, one of my sponsees, right? And my phone rings. I mean, it's my dad. He calls me. He lets me know. He's like, son, they call me from Mexico. They're asking me what I should do with this. And he's asking for my advice. And I had to pause because for the first time in my life, my dad was actually coming to me, you know? And I had to pause and I had to like take it all in. I'm like, Dad, Yummy, can I call you back? I need to process all this, you know, because I'm doing it by self-propulsion, right? I'll give him an answer. I mean, and I missed a moment, right? And I sat there and I actually took it in. I'm like, damn, the power of God runs deep in this program. He does the miraculous. He has given me a new relationship with my father, a new relationship with my mother, a new relationship with my sisters. See, they're not the old relationships. I'm not reconstructing these relationships. They're new relationships, you know, and my son, I mean, 4.5 years, I mean, I was still dealing with disrespect. I was still dealing with him avoiding me. I was still dealing with all that. But I just knew that I had to continue on this process. That given the opportunity, I mean, I'll be able to make all my wrongs right? And the day came. I was in the shower and my son comes in like, Dad, for the first time, he says, Dad, can you iron my shirt? See, I'm driven by being selfish and self-centered, right? So in my mind, I'm saying, like, hell no, you iron your own shirt, right? Because that's who I am, right? But I paused and I was like, yeah, leave it on the bed. You know, and for the first time in my life, my son actually came to me. You know, a week later, he asked me for a ride. You know, and this relationship has begun to rebuild, but it takes what it takes. This is not an overnight matter, right? It takes what it takes because I'm entering the realm of the spirit. You know, man, I'm given a purpose, and this purpose gives me a duty, and the sole purpose of this duty is to be able to be fit, right? To be spiritually fit. And how do I do spiritually fit? By staying in 10, 11, and 12. By learning how to pray and meditate. Right? And reflecting on my day. Doing my daily reprieve. Right? And working with others. See, I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of people. I mean, see them recover. See them rebuild their families. You know what I mean? And the beautiful thing about this process of recovery, I mean, like, we recover from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. You know what I mean? And the humbling part about this process is that through all of this, you know what I mean, I understand that I only know a little. The more is constantly being disclosed to me and to others. I mean, and I ask him in my morning meditation, you know, what I could do for the man who's still sick. And that's what I continue to do. See, this process of recovery has given me something that I never had, freedom from the bondage of self. See, I get to be selfless. See, I get to go to my club, you know what I mean, and actually put up the chairs. I get to go to my club to my home group and do the coffee, do the chips, you know what I mean, the treasure, be a GSR. See, I get to be a service, I mean, not expecting anything in return, you know what I mean? I get to mop the floors. See, these are the things I get to do, you know what I mean? All those things that the group that the mains have taught me, you know what I mean, I get to take home, you know, and this power, I mean, it's done some amazing things. I mean, like a while ago, I mean, I was at the Costco parking lot, and I'm waiting to park in this parking when the car's pulling out, right? And someone beats me to the parking, right? And my mind says, man, break their window, right? But God stops me, and He's like, are you really gonna ruin their day? And I was like, wow. And are you gonna allow them to ruin your day? And I took off. I mean, I went and I found another parking. Yeah, that's how the power of God runs in this program. I mean, it has given me a God consciousness. See, I can't do the things that I usually do and not feel it. Today I get to feel. And that's a beautiful thing. See, that is the gift of recovery. I mean, to be able to show up to life and actually feel it. all the highs, all the lows, you know what I mean? All the successes and all the failures, and be okay with it. I mean, I have found peace and serenity in these rooms. And I want to thank my brother Cherry for allowing me to come in here. I want to thank you. I think that's probably my 50 minutes. With that, you know what I mean? I'll receive another 24.